Welcome back to the Shadow Priestess Embodied. I'm your host, Kaylyn, and thank you for joining me today for another deep dive and exploration into your inner world, into your body, the shadow realms, where we will begin to explore some of these esoteric principles and really begin to drop them down into modern day application and embodiment. This is a sacred place where you can begin to truly meet yourself, meet your medicine, and to meet your magic. This is a place of remembrance. Take a deep breath and let's begin. Welcome back, you conscious, delicious, beautiful people, for another episode of the Shadow Priestess Embodied podcast. I'm so excited to have you back. So today I bring on one of my friends, Whitney Walker, and we have a pretty deep conversation. And we really kind of dive deep into what we're experiencing right now as a collective with retrograde, these eclipses, what we're being asked to really do during this season, and how to really navigate from this place of survival to sovereignty. So, Whitney Walker is a licensed marriage and family therapist who specializes in addiction, eating disorders, trauma, and spirituality. She also works as a recovery coach and a spiritual guide. Whitney incorporates spiritual concepts into her work, including the return of the divine feminine and moving from a place of fear to love, releasing all self destruction and rejection to embrace unconditional self love and acceptance. These ideas from the concept of Women Waken, her business, and her vision for the future. Whitney created the Women Waken Podcast, a holistic guide to wellness and abundant self-love, along with accompanying a YouTube channel. So please make sure to go check her out. I recently got introduced to this queen on the interwebs, as we all do these days, and I'm sure you will find so much medicine, so much juice and nuggets in this episode. So without further ado, let's dive in. All right, you guys, welcome back to the Shadow Priestess Embodied podcast. I'm your host, Kaylyn Rakowski, and today I have a new friend of mine joining us, Whitney Walker. And you know what? We're just gonna kind of dive in today with eclipse season and a lot of like reconfigurations taking place. We wanted to kind of like give name to what so many of you are experiencing. So before we kind of dive into the nitty gritty and go deep with you, I want to give Whitney an opportunity to introduce herself, a little bit about who you are, the work you do in the world, and then we'll dive right in.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you for having me on your show. Very excited.
I'm so excited.
The Shadow Priestess, amazing, right? Like it's just so,
Yes.
I love that image. There's just something about like the divine feminine, when you think of it, it's like, it always gets me when I have to remember that the sun is actually the masculine, like the lit place. Cause I'm like, no, it's the female. We're like the bright, sunny, loving ones, but the divine feminine is complex. It's,
yes, baby.
it's flowy, it's mysterious, it's deep, it's vivacious, it's sensuous. It's like, yeah.
And it's like the minute you try to put words to her, it's like you limit her and put her in a box, and she is just like
it.
Yes, she is limitless. She is everything. She is the void. She is the mystery. She is the dream. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So tell our listeners a little bit about like the work that you guide your clients through in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have the Women Waken podcast, and pretty much what I'm all about at this point in my life is just offering what I can to contribute and voice what I believe is going to help us through this huge shift that we're going through as humanity, as Earth. Earth is a very important piece of the cosmos. And I think we forget that. And you probably know what it's like. We talk to certain people, and some people are in sort of the plane of like, I don't know why we're here, and Earth is just a rock flying through the sky, and that's it. And that's fine. That's fine. But
Yeah.
I'm very much of like, no, we're absolutely a part of something so much bigger and brilliant. And we are a integral, important piece. And we're not really contributing or really connected that well right now because Earth itself is not being honored. right? Humanity is not really honoring Earth. We're not operating in a way here that's conducive to giving off the energy of love. So when you do that, you're going to kind of be, people are going to leave you alone, right? So I've
Mm-hmm.
heard that. I'm sure you've heard this when you go into more galactic esoteric concepts, is that there are a lot of more highly evolved species in the universe around us. And it's not, they don't have any hate for Earth, but like, why would you bother with someone who's toxic? Right?
Yeah.
We know that in our personal lives. Once you realize, okay, I wish you the best to a certain person, but every time I'm involved with you or I do something with you, there's either lying, there's manipulation, no, thank you. I disengage with love. And that's kind of where Earth is. People, the rest of the solar system is sort of disengaged with love. And so I believe that a lot of that is because we have discarded the feminine properties. We've tried to run this planet based on 100% intense masculine energy, which is just this very deep ego energy, just this like greed and what can I get and what can I make and what can I have?
I was gonna say, I would even say you're saying intense, but like the word that's coming to me is like toxic because like the masculine, when it's expressed in a healthy way, is very supportive to where like
Oh,
evolution is taking us, where Gaia is trying to go. But the problem is we're stuck in like false light paradigms and these false templates of the masculine. And that's what I see right now. It's like the toxic masculine expression has pretty much just like outswiped everything else, like especially the feminine. The feminine is so heavily suppressed, so heavily demonized, and yeah, it's time to shake shit up. It's time
it's
to
time to
shake
shake shit up, and shit is being shaked up. It's happening.
Yep.
It's happening whether we're on board with it or not. It's happening whether we get dragged by it or decide to flow with it, right? Decide to go with it and learn from it. And you and I, before we jumped on the call, we're talking about we're in the middle of eclipse season, which is, whew, yeah, feeling it. And like talk about getting knocked down and being dragged. Like there is a lot coming up that's going to, because the thing is that I heard this eclipse being described as the eclipse window, right? We're in between two eclipses. So it's like this window to your
Yep.
destiny. And I feel like 2024 is unique in that every eclipse season is going to shake stuff up and help you release. But there's something about 2024 that really, to me, is like a doorway. It's a portal to our destined path and whether we choose to take it or not. Because it's kind of the time where if you are intentional and you allow things to fall away and you're mindful about it, you can be put on your path towards what can happen and what's possible in the next few decades, which is a lot. Like we're going to
Yeah.
see more changes and growth than we've ever seen on every level, at a personal level, at a soul level, at an evolutionary level, but also in society. Because I believe what's
Yeah.
going to start happening is things are going to start falling apart. And people
Yeah.
who don't get it are going to be really scared. And people who get it are going to be the ones that, if they've done their work, they can be a solid, stable source for offering guidance to others, guidance, support, and love, really. And that's what this time is about. It's preparing us. So I want to really put that out there to anyone who might need to hear that, where if you're going through it, it's because the universe, source, God, whatever you want to call it, knows that you're ready, that you're
Hmm.
ready to level up to that next place where you are a leader, you're a beacon, you're a source of that guidance that's going to be needed in the decades to come. I mean, it really is so much bigger than we realize.
Oh my gosh. Everything you just said, I'm just like nodding my head, like, yes, yes, yes. But something I want to kind of loop back and touch on that you said that I think is really important is that you spoke about like allowing things to fall away. And I think that what I've noticed, at least like in coaching in my own spiritual journey, is that there's so many times where we're always like grasping or seeking for more, right? Like the next healing modality I need, the next teacher, the next course, insert blank, right? It's like we're always looking for something that we need to do or fix, essentially. And what I've really come to realize, especially over the last year, because 2023 was probably one of the hardest years of my life. So much reconfiguration, so many death portals, and
So
but what
many.
it yeah, and I know I experienced it, but on a collective level too. So many people in my world, especially when you and I first connected and we were talking, it's like 2023 was just a fucking year of the void, of loss, of just you're just so in the darkness where it's like there's no lifeboats being thrown and you're just like, what the fuck is happening? But what that year really taught me is that when we're really ascending or we're really unveiling, like back to our most authentic selves, to our soul mission, to our destiny, it's not about adding more, right? It's about letting go. It's about letting go and looking at all the relationships, all the ways of beings, identity, environments, like all the things in your life that aren't serving you anymore and where God is guiding you to go. And I think that 2023 was that year where so much of the darkness was illuminated, where it's like, if you weren't willing to consciously walk away from those things, God made it so fucking painful or did it for you, right? So that you had no choice
Speak
but
it.
to yeah, but to surrender to
True.
go in, and I'm just speaking from my truth because I think sometimes, like, another I guess, how I wanna explain this is that everybody is seeking to ascend, right? We wanna go higher, we wanna, like, be in the higher planes, we wanna, be 5D, like, all the shit you hear people say, like, with the new age terms, but the true path of, like, the feminine, of the goddess, is about descending. And what happens is it's like this beautiful inverse reaction is that like when you allow yourself to descend, to go into the underworld, to go into the mystery, the darkness, it's actually like as much as you can surrender and go into the mystery is like the capacity for you to anchor in and hold this new light. And that's why it's not so much about trying to grasp or seek more or leaving the body. It's about dropping into the most primal, deepest, darkest parts of yourself and exploring the mystery. And one of my like favorite things I always try to like tell people is like, you're not some like project that needs fixing or constant working on. Like you are an essence, you are a magic, you are an expression that's constantly being discovered and embodied. And if we can look at it that way and like go into the mystery with that sense of like curiosity and like excitement, it's so much faster to anchor in more light and to really like awaken that unique blueprint that you're here to be, that you're destined to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that really involves being more objective and just seeing things as like, oh, what an interesting opportunity to grow. What an interesting thing to explore and inquire about. Like, why did this happen? Because as you were talking, what I realized is, yes, I'm seeing this distinction between 2023 and this year is that last year was, for me at least, and it sounds like you, it was like deep removal. Like, when you have to go in and get like a mole removed and they have to go in there and like really get it out. It was
Yes,
like,
that
I
was
had
it.
people. Yeah, I had like people and circumstances that had been in my life for a long time just yanked out of me. Like, and it wasn't just, it was like events were set up and put into motion that unexpectedly created a disconnect, like that person just left my life. Family members left my life because this thing came up and it blew us apart. And it was like, what is happening? But what I'm
Yeah,
noticing this year is it's funny that you say like not adding things, is I'm not having that. Like it's a little bit gentler, but it's more like I'll think, just like you said, oh, okay, I'm going to incorporate this in my life. And something's like, nope, swats it away. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh, like, for example, I just met somebody last month and was dating them for a while. I was like, this is great. And I was totally ignoring the signs that it was bringing up my old habits and my old tendencies of whether it's like people pleasing or wanting to see the best in people and ignoring my intuition and ignoring
yeah,
my standards. And that was just knocked out of my life after a few weeks. And that is what keeps happening to me. I was looking into getting a business coach and I was going to go for it. And then that just got swatted away. And so now I'm just sort of like, okay, so what is this? Like what? And I joked in a podcast episode I just did that this year has felt like a Mercury retrograde the whole time for me because everything
yeah.
I've tried to get started has just failed. So there's something going on. Like there is, it's like things are generating, there's something happening, but it's like not time to take on new things or try to do like quick fixes. I don't know. Something's going on.
Yeah, and I think, like, really what you're speaking to too is because um, hence the name Shadow Priestess and Body, like, my jam is guiding people through voids, through meeting people when they're in these phases of transformation, transition, like, rebirth, like, that's where I love to be, and what I notice, like you're saying, is, like, when we're in that place, we start doing what I was talking about, we start grasping, right? "Oh, maybe it'll be a relationship, maybe it's a coach, maybe it's this, I should da 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 da." And the void asks you to get fucking bare naked, like to
Yeah.
strip down to nothing where it's just you, your vessel, and God. And it's like in those phases, it's not like trying to fix or add more. It's like, can you get on your knees with God? Can you literally allow everything to go to like receive, like, and the way I'm seeing it in my mind's eye right now is like receiving like his seed, like receiving like the blessing that God's trying to give you. but you're not going to get that by doing and trying. It's like, how deep are you willing to go into absolutely fucking nothing, into openness, surrender, receptivity? And it's like, you'll know when it's time, because it's like, it's such a clear knowing where it's like pulling you forward, right? It's like this new, who you were when you went into the void and who you will be on the other side are two completely different people, right? You will forever be reborn. And when you're there, you know. And until you're there, it's like, how much longer can I gestate? How much longer can I let God move to me and through me? And fuck, man. My void started last year, and I will say I'm still not out of it. And I still grapple with it, because I'm like, oh, I should be out of this season by now. It should start to be spring and summer by now, and it's not. It's still winter. And even though it feels like nothing is happening, intuitively I know everything is happening, right? Just like in winter, when it looks like everything's dead and dying, and then boom, it's spring and everything's there. But there was a gestation and creation underneath the soil that we couldn't see. And like, can you have that same trust and reverence for your life and for your destiny? You know, and that's something I've really been sitting in, because it's hard to be in that when you're humans like, holy fucking shit, we're not safe here. What are you doing? You need to be making money. You should be doing this. And it's like, really, I think connecting back with like your inner guidance above everything else, you know?
Definitely. Definitely. And that's one of the most courageous things that we can do, because the learning to be in the void and to let go of the doingness and the neediness for results and for immediate changes and outcomes is so brave, because you literally are having the experience of what it's like to exist in, in the darkness. As you said, like the feminine goes deep. The feminine focuses on the root system. And there was a time at the beginning of the universe when all there was darkness and there was no light. And we were just in the void, and something, and we were a part of that something, because we're all one, had to just trust for a very long time that
Mm-hmm.
just total surrender and acceptance of the what is. And it's in the Bible, but it's a bigger phrase, which is that the universe itself, God, like the one said, I am what I am, because the universe and God had to just sit there and say, I don't know what I will be, but I just know that I am what I am right in this moment. And it's those
Yeah.
times in the void when your life doesn't seem to be going anywhere and you don't know, maybe I won't create anything, and maybe nothing will come of me, but I just have to trust that I am here, and that's all I can be.
Yeah. And I think too, like you were saying, to get off of the hamster wheel of like busyness and doing and productivity, it's such a deep collective wound, like coming back to that like toxic masculine paradigm that we are currently operating in. So for you to actually like surrender, to lean back and to do nothing is really fucking hard. It sounds like, oh, I could do that, but actually
Yeah.
try it. Try to actually not fucking do anything and allow space, and see how fucking uncomfortable your human gets. See how uncomfortable your ego gets. See how it tries to distract you and make you do things. And what I've really realized too, because the void isn't something you go in once, y'all. Like you go through multiple initiations, and how you move through them is so contingent on who you're becoming, right? And your resistance to what is. But I literally just lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? Why was that important?
I can pick up on it because you're inspiring me to say something, unless you
Okay,
know what you're
take
gonna
over.
say. Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say that another thing to remember, because I speak about this a lot, is again, the coming decades are going to be big. And there's a reason why we're in this void and we're in this place of gestation right now that's so long, is because we're about to birth and bring forth things that have not existed before on Earth.
That's what
And
I was talking about. I remember
in
now.
in order for that to happen, we have to go deeper than we have before. We have to allow for more time and space and trust. Because again, the urge to create something is you just want to pick up someone else's blueprint. You want to follow a tried and true path that already exists and run with that, because you need your money, you need your place, you need your grounding. And that's okay to feel like you need that. But ask yourself, what do you really want? Because I had to ask myself that, right? When I was going to jump on with a coach and stuff. And I was like, well, what do I want my life to look like? Well, I don't want it to look like this, that, and the other thing. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to trust,
Yeah,
even though I get uncomfortable, because I'm like, I don't know that that I'm going to get, the clients that I need and this and that. But I have so far. My life has
yeah,
shifted a lot in the past few years, but I know one thing: I can take care of myself and my beloved dog, and I'm still here. The universe has provided just as much
yeah.
as I need for right now. And I do believe that those of us who are patient, abundance is going to come in droves, because the universe will always conspire in your favor, especially when you've set your intentions on helping the whole, right? To do the work for the highest good. And to
Yeah.
me, that's such a statement of the divine feminine. I try to close all of my sentiments and prayers with, may I ask for this? May I be guided towards this to do the work for the highest good? Because then we're moving out of the small self that's like, that would
Yeah.
be really awesome to make all that money and get all the things I wanted, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being able to attract abundance. But when you don't have the highest good in mind, you often just kind of loop back to, sort of realize like, okay, I got what I wanted, but do I actually feel fulfilled? If you give this time patience, if you allow the void and the gestation period to fully complete, you're going to be amazed. It's like they keep saying, and they've been saying it for years, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. But it's like, what the universe has in store for you is so much bigger and more brilliant than you could ever imagine. And that's what it wants for you. Not these littler things where it's like, oh, cool, look at what they created. I want to do something like that. I want to make it just like that. No, wait for like what your unique birthing is going to be, because that's what's going to be truly remarkable.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that and completing my brain. That was literally where I was going. I was
I
like,
got you.
where am I going with this?" But that's 100% what it is, and even when you're saying, like, what I wanted, I would challenge you and say, "I bet it's not even what you want." Because here's the thing, it's like your mind can only create what it's seen before. This is the thread I was trying to get on. Thanks, brain. Your mind can only create what it's seen before. So you think that you have these desires. Oh, I want the clients, I want the money, I want this, but do you really want that? Is that really a soul desire? Because if we are here to be a blueprint changer, to be a conscious leader, to be a change maker, you are literally here to shake up the grid and to create and birth something that has never been seen before. So as we're like grasping and we want all to try on all these different things, oh, they have the success or they have the cars, they have the money, they have the house, they have this. It's probably not even authentic to you. And that's why the void is such a blessing, because it strips away all of the false identities, all the false egos, all the false beliefs, all the things that you think you should have or you should want. And it really connects you back with your heart, back with your soul, and what you are here to actually birth and create. Because even though we have like these ideas and dreams, which can be great, like kind of like guidepost, what your spirit and what your higher self and what is in the highest alignment for all is so much fucking bigger than anything that your conscious mind is dreaming of or who you even believe yourself to be, because who you're here to be has never been before. So how could you consciously think your way to it? You can't. You have to surrender, open yourself up to fully receive it, right? Okay.
Yeah, and that's literally opening, right? You literally are expanding your consciousness to beyond the level that it is now, right? When you expand your consciousness, you open yourself to new levels. I can't believe we're talking about this, because just this morning I was reading in my book. I'm very big into the Seth work. If you're familiar with the book Seth Speaks or the Seth Materials, it's
Mm.
channeled material. It's one of the original channelers. Her name is Jane Roberts. Back in the 60s and 70s, she channeled this non-physical entity that spoke of the truths of how matter works, the true nature of reality, how, all these, how manifestation, all these things actually work. And it said humanity, human beings are stuck in only believing what they can imagine. And
Yeah.
the only thing you'll ever see is what you can imagine in your mind. And we believe in this limited thing. When we expand our consciousness, new things will come into being, not because they weren't already there, but because we didn't have it in mind. So how can you
Yeah.
see something that you don't have a frame of reference of? And it could be all sorts of things. I talk about all kinds of shit. I'm way out there, so I'll just say it. Like, I'm really into the year of the dragon. I fucking love dragons. I'm obsessed. I believe that dragons exist. There's been testaments. I've heard stories of people who see weird shit when they're way out hiking in the mountains. I think they're already here. But you have to think that when we believe that anything is possible, we open ourselves to seeing and experiencing things that we thought weren't quote unquote real, because they are real. We just don't have them incorporated in our current conscious reality.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious, like in your perspective, like what do you think really, or what have you seen with your clients? Like, what is the block or what is the disconnection from really like deepening into that or like opening yourself up to receive like more of your inner guidance or more like divine intelligence? Like, what do you see blocking that?
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm so big on the divine feminine. And that's why it's like Women Waken, is because I think that the feminine energy is what holds the key to infinite potential, right? Because
Mhm.
the feminine is infinite potential. And then the masculine is that which supports what comes from that, right? We don't have everything all at once. If we did, we would be in the totality of everything that is. And that's a lot. We're in this experience of humanity and physicality to experience a piece of it, right? And but it still has to come from that void, from the
Mhm.
infinite energy of the feminine comes forth, and then the masculine supports it into being. But right now we've shut down that source because the feminine will never force itself. Like it will, I mean, the feminine is powerful, but it's not going to insist that it's seen or received a certain way. It's similar to when we talk about our soul, right? Your soul comes into this life for a reason, but your soul is not going to fight you. If it knows that you're deviating from the path, from the lessons, from the experience you came here to have, it's not going to forcefully try to get you. It will guide you. It will gently offer opportunities and experiences for you to remember and recall and be drifted back to your true purpose, but it's not going to force it. And the same with
Yeah.
the feminine. So for all these ages, the masculine has gladly been forceful and said, I'll take the reins, I'll create this world and I'll decide what it is. And it's made of 15 different principles and that's it, right? Our main instinct is survival. Not true, but we've decided that. We have to fight for what we want. We have to have certain um, qualities and different attributes in order to be successful, in order to be safe in this world. Not true. There's all these falsehoods that have been created because the divine feminine has not been allowed to be expressed. We haven't been told that our greatest wisdom is within us. We've been
Mhm.
told it's outside of us. You need to go read a book. You need to go get an education. Those are fine things, but that's not where the true wisdom lies. The infinite possibilities lie within us, in our heart, in our soul, in our DNA is the complete expansion of the universe. Everything that ever will be or ever has been, we already know at a cellular level. But in
Yeah.
this experience we're having, we are so limited. And the only thing that can break us out of this spell is the divine feminine return of infinite possibility, of encouraging you to trust more than to fear, to love more than to fear, to see each other as we're helping each other out, that together we can create the most beautiful thing rather than feeling like we have to compete and fight with one another and feel threatened. And it's, when you look at it, it really is like certain people kind of figured out, like, if we keep everybody fighting against each other, then those people at the top who gain power can delightfully stay there in a place of power because everyone else is so busy feeling insecure and afraid and fighting that they're not making any progress. And that's where we are. The divine feminine knows there was never any need for this in the first place. We just are living by the rules that we created that are very masculine. And when the feminine is introduced back and becomes the focus, then we get to soften and we get to actually discover who we really are, not who we've been told we are, not our
Yeah.
limitations, but our possibility, our potential, which is great. And the fact that every single one of us has an own unique brilliance to bring into the space. Every single one of us. And
Yeah.
we have an epidemic of insecurity because people believe that that's not true. They think,
Yeah.
no, not me, because like no one's ever made me feel special. I never excelled in anything. I don't look the right way. I'm nothing. And those are all very masculine principles, very conditional principles. If you even want to take masculine out of it, it's just unconditional versus conditional. When you make things conditional, it's a zero sum game. They're the best and you're the worst, right?
Yeah.
These people are the has and you're the have nots. And it's, you better fight and race your ass off and stay busy all the time. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind. This is such a misnomer. It's such a untruth. And again, I just feel that the thing that will help us is the return of the feminine energy that reminds us that we are always safe, that we are part of the divine. And it's time to release that and see what we can create together as a unified field of humanity rather than this separate consciousness that's become so divisive in this world.
Yeah. And I think it's too what I really love, a few things that you said is like each of us has a unique radiance. Each of us has a divine spark. Like we are one of one. And if you're one of one, there literally is no fucking competition, right? I can't be you. I think you're fucking epic, but even if I tried to be you, I couldn't be. I am not energetically coded to be you, and you're not energetically coded to be me. And that's perfect, right? That's how we are designed to be this expression of divinity that is absolutely unique. But like you said, the problem is everybody's stuck in this cycle of sameness, right? We all need to look like Kim Kardashian. This is the face of beauty. We all should be working 9 to 5s and said struggling. Well, that's probably true. Struggling, striving to get, 6 figures, 7 figures, have the white picket fence, have the husband, have the 2 dogs and the kids. You know what I mean? It's like everybody has this idea in their mind of what success looks like and that they're sizing themselves up to be. And like, oh, well, I'm not that. So then I'm not valuable or I'm not worthy or I'm not good enough. Right. When it's
Mhm.
like, we were never all meant to be the fucking same anyway. Right. This is why back in the day we had like a barter system and someone was an artist and someone was a farmer and someone was a midwife and someone was this and this and this. And each of us brought our unique essence to the tribe. And that's how the
Mhm.
tribe thrived. But now we're in a society that prides itself on sameness. God forbid you can't be fucking unique or think differently because then you're crazy and then you're this. You know what I mean? And it's
Oh,
so
detrimental to us.
yeah, and it's just creating this massive discord and separation, like you said, on the planet where we're so busy fighting each other and, everybody's in a hamster wheel and in hustle and burnout that it's like we're not even really awake to what the fuck is happening on this planet and what a terrible place we're really in, from our government to our environment, right? To the fucking foods we eat, like everything. We are like polluting the planet, polluting our bodies. And it's like there's such a few select people that are actually awakened to this. And I honestly, like, I've been predicting, like, with this year, like, with the election and everything that's coming, like, there's going to be a lot more fucking separation and discord and just fucking fear just flooded into the collective. And there's going to be the people who have been doing the work, who are deeply connected to God, who are deeply connected to themselves, who are literally going to have to be like the pillars and the way showers for these people because shit's about to get fucking crazy this year. Like, it's one of those things where it's like it has to get worse before it gets better. And we're at this pivotal point in humanity where it's like either things have to get better or there is going to be no more. Like, Earth is literally splitting. Like, quantum physics has proven this, right? It's splitting into 2 different timelines. And there's going to be the timeline of this detrimental fucking just, I don't know, toxic, terrible humanity that we have going on, right? And then you're going to have the people who want to build new earth, who want to be heart centered, who want to be from a place of love, who want to be in collaboration and connection and community. And like, that's where we're trying to go. But before that happens, like, the darkness has to be revealed, it has to come to light.
Yeah. And it's like, this isn't our first rodeo. Like, if you go back and study like ancient civilizations, there's been this splitting before. I mean, if you think about, for
Yes.
example, like when the Mayan culture that just disappeared, they ascended out of this reality because they knew where it was going. It was too dense, it was too conditional,
Yep.
it was not based on the principles that they know to be true. And so they pieced out. And what's kept happening is that we are still a part of like the civilizations that were at lower densities. And so we stay in this collective sense of fear. And I heard on this episode that came out about like ancient civilizations that started this year, was talking about how she channeled this transmission from a higher consciousness. And it basically said that this rendition of humanity that we're in is the most depraved that has ever been. Because it's essentially like the leftovers from a lot of different separations. So we here are like some badass motherfuckers. Like, we are the ones that have seen shit. And there's some those of us who are so gung-ho about this, it's because we've done this before. We've seen the collapse of civilizations and the horrors and the atrocities, and we've had to do it again.
Well,
Right.
that's why
And
we're here.
that's why we're here. And so that's why some of us are fired up, because we're like, not again. Like, I am so
Yep.
over this. I'm not going to go through the darkness and the misery and the separation again. I'm rising up. Nobody can stop me. But we're going to have to be brave, because there's so many people who still live in this little box world and say, what are you talking about? That's weird. Let's just tune into the 5 o'clock news and let them tell us what to think and be afraid of and what to do with our lives. And the rest of us are
Yep.
saying, we need to break out of the fucking system, because it's an illusion. It's all an illusion. And it's going to take us under again. Just as you said, if we stay in the illusion, it will gladly bring you through another, because you keep going deeper, if you get what I'm saying.
Yep.
And to me, the truth is like ultimately you will always return back to source. There's nothing to be afraid of. And the deeper you go, the more evolved your soul gets. That's why we're here, is because you go to these depths, just think of a lifetime, right? Your lifetime, my lifetime. I personally went through addiction. Hell and back. It was horrific. I wanted to die. I didn't want to be who I was. But because I went so deep, I had such a strong reclamation of, well, I'm going to decide who I am now. I'm not going to
Yeah.
try and kill myself slowly because I don't think I'm good enough, because I don't look how I'm supposed to look. I'm not received. I'm
Mhm.
going to do my damnedest to break out of that and reclaim my sovereign self, my true self. And humanity,
Yeah.
those of us who are ready to lift humanity up, we have to do that collectively and say, tune out the people who tell us we're crazy and we're just, way out there and weirdos. I've lost so many people. We're talking about last year, people who just, they say, I don't get it. I don't get the journey you're on. And I say, I respect that. I understand it, but
Yeah.
I can't have those people in my life anymore. Like, I love them, but I can't be close to them because then I end up at a dinner table with friends who are talking about shit that I don't care about. All I want to talk about is this. And
Yeah.
you know what? I don't give a fuck. People think I'm crazy and that's fine. I don't fit in anymore to the same circles I did. And that's okay. Because I believe in the soul, but there's still people on this planet who think that we are just little humans, just having a little life, and that's all that there is. And again, that's fine. But if you are not aligned with that, like, there are more and more people who see bigger, because I know, because people reach out to me through my podcast to say, I was never really into this stuff, but it's like really stirring something in me, what you're saying. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like I know this. And I also feel like I hear things and I'm getting visions and I don't know what they are. And those are the people again, that's what's going to happen in the coming years. People like you and I, we're going to mobilize. It's almost like there's going to be like this army. Sounds like a harsh word because we associate that with violence and war, but like a gathering, a mobilization, an army of love, like people who are like the way showers. And they're like, if you want to join us, come. Like, let's
Yeah.
come together and let's declare that we are moving towards this and we will not be held back. We're not going to conform anymore.
Yeah, and it's so trippy that you're saying that because, like, I think I shared this with you when you and I first talked. I literally have had, like, dreams of that, of,
Yes,
like,
share with us. You got to say it. Someone's got to hear it right now. I need to hear you.
yeah, so just so when it happens, you guys could say you heard it first here, no. But, I've literally had visions of that where it's, like, groups of people where and I hate that I'm using this word, but I can't think of a better example right now where it looks almost like different, I'll just say camps, like different camps of people, and there's armies, and there's like people like guiding one masses like to somewhere else, and then there's a bunch of other people going like to a different place. And I think this is really symbolic of the splitting like that's taken place,
Mhm.
but also just like and I don't wanna fear mongle here, you guys, like, that's not what I'm trying to do, so I'm kinda holding back a little bit from sharing, like, the full vision of this, 'cause I don't wanna fear mongle anyone, because there's nothing to be afraid of. But just know, I'll just say this, right now, we're all being presented a choice where we can either continue to run in survival or we can deepen in sovereignty. And that's really what this timeline splitting is asking right now. There's gonna be a group of us who continue to run on these fear templates, who continue to run on survival, where it's literally just like, you know, what is the bare minimum? Like, what is the need? Like, how can I just get by? And there's other group of us who are getting tapped in, turned on, plugged in to source and are reclaiming our sovereignty and are reclaiming our light and are using literally our bodies as spiritual technology to anchor in these new codes to the planet. But there is going to be where the vibration of the planet and the collective is ascending. And if the rest of us aren't willing to rise, I don't wanna make it seem like, "Oh, you're gonna be kicked out." It's not like that, but there is a splitting, and you will not be going where New Earth is going because the vibration it's not a vibrational match, essentially, and that's, like, what this vision was showing me is, like, there is
Mm.
a group of people who and those people aren't gonna be aware of it, that's the funny thing, because 'cause they're just gonna continue on these toxic, like, paradigms in Earth, where this new Earth will be birthed, where it's literally, like, what I'm hearing right now is like it's like Atlantis, like templates and like coding and like that type of civilization that's gonna take place again. It's gonna be completely different. That was really woo, and I can't believe I shared all that with y'all. But here you go.
Oh, girl, there's nothing that's too woo. Come on, we're letting go of the
Yep.
limits. We're letting it
Yep.
all hang out here. Like this is
Yep.
the open hour because it's just. And again, I think more people need to speak this way, and this is how I plan to spend the rest of my life. And again, I don't care what people think of me anymore. I mean, I do, and that's another thing I want to like speak is like it's not about being perfect. You know, it's not about not having times where you don't doubt yourself and still get caught up in the comparison and like I should be like this, I should be like that. You know, it's just about learning to move through it and have less judgment because I think it's judgment that keeps us stuck, right? It's like, oh, I shouldn't be like this and I should be if I'm so spiritual, nothing should bother me and I should be able to just move through. You're still a human on
Yep.
planet Earth, which planet Earth is like very dense and it's like very riddled with toxic messaging and programming that we've been through. So it takes a while, right? It takes a while to release all of that stuff that's been flowing through our freaking system for so long, to reclaim
Mhm.
our sovereignty and to strip ourselves of this armor of like defense and survival and to return to this light. Because what's really going to happen is, you know, I often say that like something like self-love is a state of being. Well, so is sovereignty and freedom. Like you can't force it. You just have to keep moving towards it. Just
Yeah.
every time you feel held back by it, right? Like again, like this situation where I just went through this little relationship where I felt, you know, like I felt discarded and I my little self hurt. I felt like, what's wrong with me? But I was able to recover quicker and be like, there's nothing wrong with you. It's not personal. It's their situation. You're very different from them. Because it's the other thing that happens to us, which is funny, is even a spiritual goddess can still beg for approval from a being that they maybe feel like they need to save or they want to have love from. And then we have to remember who we really are by going through that, right? We have to say, okay, I got caught up in that again, but I'm not going to next time because I don't need to save anybody. That's not my job. Attraction. When we follow our own course, people will be guided to it. We don't have to drag people to it.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't get it, because I know also I've been insecure to speak to these things because I felt uncomfortable when people didn't get it. And I felt like I needed to like explain to them and like go down to their level. But I realized this is another theme this year is like stand in your power, like be
Yep.
your queen. And that was another lesson I learned from this little relationship is like I realized I was making myself small and not just
Mhm.
being like, this is what I am and this is what I'm about. And if you don't get it and you want to leave because of it, that's fine. Rather, I was like, no, let me try and like show you. They don't, if someone does not have ears to hear, they don't have eyes to see, then let them be, right? Let
Yeah.
them, just like you said, we're splitting. And some people, they're not ready. It's kind of just, you know, if anyone's dealt with an addict before, especially if it's someone you love and a family member, it's brutal because you cannot force someone to want to get sober. You can't
Yep.
do it. It's a shift in their consciousness. The person that decides, like I did, like, what the fuck? Like, I am not doing this anymore. I need to change. It's a leveling up, but some people aren't leveling up in this lifetime, just the way that you and I have past lifetimes where we didn't level up then. We didn't. We were at lower energies. We made lower decisions. And that's why in this lifetime, we're like, okay, I'm ready to
Yep.
do different. So just trusting everyone's walking their own path. Just keep your eyes forward. And those that are needing your lessons and guidance will come to you. Those who don't get you, just let them go. Don't try to over explain yourself. Don't try to prove yourself. If someone, and you started the episode with this, let rejection happen. And when we can learn to not take it personal, like don't hold on to things. Don't, I just spoke about this in my podcast, but there's a quote that I love that says, everything that's been taken from me has claw marks on it. And that's been the story of my life. People who dumped me or rejected me, I begged for them not to because I couldn't handle that maybe someone didn't like me or that I was being rejected. I couldn't handle it. But then I look back and realize it's just because I don't trust enough in who I am. So I need to work on that because again, it's not about you. It's about that person it's something about them, right? There's something about you that doesn't feel good to them because it doesn't fit their paradigm, doesn't fit their scope of reality. So it's so big to like let things go. And especially during this time, we're in Mercury retrograde, we're in the eclipses, like we are being expedited to a new level. And if we tried to hold on for dear life to what we thought, no, 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 not this. Like, please don't take this. I really wanted this. We have to trust. We have to, unless we want to go for another round.
Yeah,
And I don't
unless you wanna
do
do it
it.
again, but to me, like, what I've really realized too, and I know we gotta honor your time, I know you don't have that much longer, but anytime that there is a rejection or something essentially gets taken away from me. And I can look back at so many times in my life because I've been on this journey all for over a decade. And every time this happens, it's truly a redirection, and I just can't see it yet because I'm so attached to that thing being, "Oh, this person was the love of my life. This was my dream job. This was my best friend." It's your attachment that blocks you from receiving the blessing. So, it's the meaning that you're putting on things, right? Like, "That was the love of my life that was taken," when truly it was just a relationship that was ending, and it was ending
Mhm.
because there's a reconfiguration, there's a redirection from God because God, your higher self, is always guiding and realigning you into your highest timeline, into your destiny timeline. But when you're so busy creating those claw marks into the things that they're trying to take away to create space for what's new and what's trying to emerge and birth through you, you literally block yourself from receiving like what is in your highest alignment. So when you start, noticing that like you start grasping or you start feeling like you're being punished or things are taken from you, I'd really love for you to sit and be like, where is God blessing me? Where is God redirecting me? What is this space creating in my life? And like, what is this space going to allow for me to experience now? Because even the most painful times in my life that I was literally like, what the fuck, God? Because I've bantered with God, y'all. Like, me and him have had some go rounds. Every time that I've been in that place and then I receive the thing maybe a week later, months later, a year later, I'm like, "Oh my God, thank you. I see now. Like, I see why you were doing that," you know? And it's like, can you just trust that? Can you trust that there's always something that's guiding you? Even if you don't always understand, can you trust it? And it's like the more that you can trust it, the more that you can lean into the mystery, into the feminine, it's like God will keep guiding you. But it's like releasing the meaning, releasing your resistance to what is, and truly just allowing yourself to flow with life, right? Like letting yourself flow because every time it's like I'm seeing us like going against the current. Like that's us, our ego trying to control. You get fucking nowhere. And if you do get somewhere, it's not where you're meant to be. Right. So it's like just learning to trust that. Like trust that. And with this season and everything that we've been talking about, there's going to be a lot of shakeups. There's going to be a lot of endings. There's going to be a lot of your own shadows, wounds, traumas that are coming up to the surface for you to look at. Like things are going to be illuminated, but just know, like, if you're in the season where shit is getting shaken up, ask yourself, like, what am I being guided to release? What am I being guided to let go of? How can I move from this place of like survival to sovereignty? And you do that through who you're being and every fucking choice you make, from the little things, the food you put in your body, the shows you watch, the products you use. You're always taking an energetic vote for who you want to be. And that's literally how you create the new programming from this like toxic state of like survival and desperation to being fucking an embodied queen who is fucking sovereign, right? Like that's how we do it.
Yeah. And that's what is trying to be offered to us through these things that are taken from us, through these challenges, is just that, just as you said, will bring up trauma, because all that trauma is this lingering misconceived energy that we're calling it one thing and we're keeping it at this lower density, and it needs to be released in order for us to move forward. So especially during these times of like eclipse and retrograde, like things will come up and make you look at that, because what's true is that what we don't resolve in this lifetime will come with us into a next lifetime. So you can
Absolutely.
decide like, no, I can't deal with this now. I can't heal from this now. I can't get out of this relationship. I'll just stay in this toxic relationship till I die. But those lessons and those healing that you didn't do will move on with you. And again, I think there's many of us in this lifetime who are saying, I'm ready this time.
Yeah.
This is the lifetime where I do it, because it's been too long, and deep in my soul, my DNA, I know that there's more for me, that this little comfort is so minuscule compared to the brilliance of being that expressive sovereign being, right? And also, like, to give ourselves grace, realize that again, on this planet, we don't have that much feeling of safety and security. And I think that's also why we hold on to things that maybe even gave us the tiniest bit of a feeling of love, of peace, of belonging. I think that's why people stay in unhealthy, toxic relationships, because when it's good, it feels soothing to your soul. And then it gets really bad. And then you hate it, you don't want it, but then it comes back around and it's good again, and you feel safe, and you get stuck in that because you don't believe that there's another side. You can't get over to the other side where it always feels good. In a healthy relationship, you can't seem to let go. Again, your claws are in the good
Yeah.
parts are good. Like the, the
And I
repairing
will say
parts.
I view that a little bit differently than you because what I really what I've really come to embody in myself is this place of self-source safety, where it's not contingent on who I'm dating. It's not contingent on the money in the bank account, the clients, whatever creates the safety for you, the status, whatever. I create safety. Like, I am the only thing that can create safety for me. I'm self-source safety. And when you really lean into that and to embody that, like, no matter what happens, that like you're gonna be okay. It's like you can recklessly like trust yourself that no matter what curveball life throws at you, that you have like the resiliency, the embodiment, the resources to be okay. And when we really get into this feeling of like self-source safety, you release the expectations, the attachments to everything external. And it's really something that's cultivated between you and the divine, right? Because the truth is, it's like nothing else in your life can give you safety. It's all an illusion.
Yeah,
Right now,
no,
you think you're
we
safe.
completely agree on that. That's exactly what I was saying, is that like
Oh,
giving yourself grace, that it's like human to believe that external things are like your comfort zone, right? It's like hanging on to like a life raft and not knowing that like when you are self-sourced, like you will be fine. Like you can float on the ocean, you'll make it. But it's,
yeah.
I think a lot of us still have these moments where we are afraid to let go because we wonder. It's like taking the leap of faith. It's like, will I
Mhm.
have what I need if I am only on my own? And most people will say no, but that's what that's what this whole journey is about, is releasing attachment to externals and believing that anything outside yourself can keep yourself alive. It's just you. But it takes a while
Mhm.
to be self-sourced, right? And not many people
Oh,
are
yeah.
there.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so I wanna give you time to kinda let people know, like, where they can find you, if you have any offerings that you wanna invite people into. So where can we connect?
Yeah. So I invite people to find me on Instagram at Women Waken. And I mean, my biggest offering right now is I'm really want to be that harbor. I want to be part of the process of bringing people together. Like anyone who this message speaks to, and you're like, I want to be a part of that. I want to join in that mobilization. I want to be coming together with that love army. Then reach out to me. Like, let's get connected. That's all I can think to do anymore. Cause like we were saying, I've thought like trying to create different, but all I know to do right now is just to bring people together and create this,
Community.
community, this union, this group. So just
A
reach out
community of
wherever you are.
badass
I want to talk to you.
badass goddess community. That's our community.
Badass goddesses. That's it.
All right, babe. Well, thank you so much for being here. I wanna respect your time. I know we could keep going. I wish we
I
could
know.
keep
Well,
going.
you're going to be on my show. We're going to record on my
Yeah.
show later this week. So everybody has to tune into that episode because that'll be a great one.
Yes. So we're gonna have 2 parts. Part 1 here,
Yeah.
part 2 on her podcast. So I'll link
Yeah.
all that in the show notes as well, so they can find you, find your podcast, find all your amazing episodes. But thank you so much for sharing your light, for sharing your voice, and I'll see you Friday, girl. If you're a woman who struggles with worthiness, with feeling enough, and really allowing yourself to be seen, this is literally my sweet spot and where I love to guide my clients through to help women redefine the relationship with their power, with their magic, and truly begin to live a life that is in alignment, that is fully expressed in their essence, and really which leads you to liberation, prosperity, and to deepen into your purpose. I recently have opened a few select spaces for one-on-one deep feminine mentorship and will be reopening the doors to my group mastermind emergence. Click the link in the bio to apply. I can't wait to connect.